I'd like to call this public forum committee meeting to order at 5:31 PM. Are there any declarations of interest? Seeing none, the public forum applicant presentation. I'll call on Harsha Nimrani and Jay Prakash Nirmani for their presentation, and I hope I pronounce your name right. Please note you'll have up to 10 minutes to discuss your matter before the Public Forum Committee. You may go up to the podium and proceed. You can please just state your name and address once you're there.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to discuss right now here. My name is Harsha Nimrani, and I believe you would have received the published form what I have sent, the summarized one. So in the brief, I will just give you the information. I am owning the gas station on the Lundy's Lane 13210 from 2017. And previously also the history for this gas station has been remaining, the zoning has been the same, so it has not changed anything. So my whole complaint is about right now to coming also and speaking about is suddenly the bylaw officer was on our property, started cutting the grass, towing the trucks without having any notice, providing us a big bill to pay there, and where we have explained to everything. This is like a truck stop, so the trucks will be coming. So city is well aware about it. This property is from 1999. It's not we are something which we have went and changed it into the as per the zoning. So why suddenly without notice and 28,000 plus 3,000? We cannot pay this bill, because we are hardly making right now to pay our mortgage and pay our bills and salaries, correct? So city should be here supporting us and not working against with us that we go out of our business and we don't have money left to pay the employees. And if they want us to remove the trucks or cut the grass, give us enough notice. Don't just go and start cutting the grass and sending us $28,000 bill. I cannot pay this bill. So that's my request to you as a council here, that please if they would have want to do us, give us 1 month notice, or some kind of registered mail or something should have come to us to given us enough time to fix that problem. And first of all, this property, I am not the alone owner. The first owner was Danny, so Danny's was his name. The second was Hatim Suez. It has been operated the same thing, and we have been more than 5-6 years. So this property, what suddenly has changed on this property that the trucks cannot come and they cannot stand? It's not and they are buying the fuel from us if they are standing over there. So if I don't allow the trucks to come and stand over there, they are not going to buy the fuel from me. Where they will go and buy? I have to pay my mortgage, I have to pay my bills. So I hope the message what has been put at point by point is very clear. So my request will be like, please kindly consider this invoice. We won't be able to pay the bill.
Thank you, Harsha. And
Yeah.
I'm going to let staff respond, and then council can ask questions, so you might be asked to come back up to the microphone.
Yep.
Okay? Okay, so I'll now call on Jason Simpson, Director of Development Services, to provide information on behalf of staff. Go ahead, Jason.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So from our records, what we have identified is we received a complaint on October 10th of 2023 regarding the condition of the property. It included garbage and waste on the property, lawn grass and weeds on the property that were several feet high. There were a number of derelict or inoperative vehicles on the property as well. The bylaw enforcement staff issued an order to the property owners, 2 orders for that matter, and they were sent on October 13th of 2023. by red mail. We have record from Canada Post that they were picked up from Canada Post on October 16th of 2023. On October 23rd of 2023, the compliance timeframe had expired on the order and the property had not been brought into compliance. Therefore, the city brought contractors on site to clean up the property. That included cutting the grass and weeds, removing the derelict and inoperative vehicles, and removing the waste. From my understanding, a large portion of the bill or the cost was there were piles of asphalt that had been dumped and hardened on the property, which required an excavator to break up and remove and dispose of. So that was a large portion of the bill as well. At the end of the day, the property was brought into compliance, but bylaw staff had to bring a contractor on site to do so.
Thank you. So now I will open the floor from council for any questions to either the applicant, presenter, or staff. Go ahead, Councillor O'Hare.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Jason. Jason, was there any prior notice given, prior to October 13th? Has this been dealt with in the past, or was that the start of it?
Bylaw enforcement staff have attended the property due to complaints on several occasions over the years. I only have in front of me up from 2020 to date, but it appears that we've been to the property 6 times as a result of complaints regarding the condition of the property since 2020.
But the first time that you sent out the notice was October 13th of 23?
For this particular instance,
Yep.
Orders were sent out in previous instances in past years.
And were the past year orders complied with or not?
Let's see. I believe that some of them were, but there were some that we had to clean up in the past as well.
Okay. And my final question is, after October 16th, the date indicated when the notice was picked up, was there any conversation or calls from the property owner until work was commenced?
I personally am not aware of any. There are no notes from the officers identifying any correspondence.
Great. That's all. Thank you very much.
Councillor D'Angelo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm just trying to make sure I got the right timeline here. So October 13th is when the notice was sent out. October 16th, it was picked up. Was it registered mail through Mr. Mayor? How do we know exactly it was picked up on October 16th?
Yeah, thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, it was sent by registered mail, and we do that with every order that is sent out so that it is trackable. In Canada Post, you're able to search on Canada Post with the tracking number to identify when it was the date and the time.
But it's not through Mr. Mayor, supplementary. Was it signed for? Or we
Yes.
just know it was actually signed for by one of the owners?
Well, it was picked up, in my understanding of registered mail, you have to sign.
Okay, so we would have a copy of who signed it then? Through Mr. Mayor?
I don't have that information in front of me, but I believe, according to the website, that is available to us from Canada Post if we were to contact them directly.
Okay, well, I sort of need some clarity on that because we have the proponents saying that they received nothing and we have some staff saying they have. So we're like over here. Now, the answer is probably somewhere in the middle. I need to know where that answer is. So we'll have to do a little bit of follow-up on that. The secondary question is, okay, so we have established through Canada Post it was picked up on the 16th. We're not sure who yet. Then on October 23rd, is that the date that actions started to commence?
That is correct.
Okay. Like, I don't have a calendar in front of me, so I don't know how many are weekend dates here. But again, that's a tight timeline. Like, I know the notice went out October 13th, but by the time sometimes, again, we've dealt this with rural properties in the past, you gotta give some allowance for people to pick up their mail. Like, there's a 3-day lag there. So I'm not sure where we're going with this at the end, Mr. Mayor, but are we gonna be asking for a report to come back to council? Is that what we're looking to do here?
That's
Because,
up to council. If that's what you want, we will take that notice, and then we'll officially run it through the meeting tonight as well.
yeah.
So we'll take that action here, but then we'll put it on tonight's agenda to make sure that the staff report. can
Okay,
follow.
because I'd like to put a recommendation forward that we have a report come back to council, so it can be noted in this meeting, because there's some discrepancies that need to be,
So you're
Yeah, that's-
asking for a report, come back to council. Can I get a seconder for that? I got Counselor Sentence. Yeah, so we're gonna continue the discussion, and then we'll vote on that, but the actual motion has to go through the council meeting tonight.
yeah, I don't have an issue with that. I just, because like I said, there'd be questions that either our staff or proponent may not be able to answer at this point in time, so I want to make sure that we have all the documentations. Like I said, I looked through the agenda here. I'd like to see some pictures of exactly what happened. Mr. Mayor, the other question I had was, did we give, because I know council wanted cost estimates going out to individuals prior to us just sending a contractor out there to do work, so that the proponents were fully aware of what cost, and it gave them some time to mitigate the problem themselves. Did we send out a cost estimate to the proponents?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I don't know the answer to that question. There isn't any notes from the officer identifying that we did that. That doesn't necessarily mean we didn't. I don't recall off the top of my head when that direction was given by council either, whether it was before or after this date off the top of my head, but it's something I can look at.
We can look back. I think it was after, but our record should show when that was.
Okay, yeah, it's because I know we've had this discussion, and we want to make sure that anyone who's got some claims against them in terms of property and bylaw standards has an understanding of what the cost is going to be associated with that. Through you, Mr. Mayor, can I ask the proponent, like, who picks up your mail? Like, could someone else have picked up the notice and that you're not aware of?
Usually myself and my husband Jay Prakash Nimrani, he's not here at this minute
Okay.
because we have like 2 autistic kids, so we change like duty. Either he comes or I come. But we haven't received, again, we are emphasizing, we haven't received any kind of notice. When we reached in fact, my husband was there on the property, Jay Prakash Nimrani, when the bylaw officer gave us very rude answer on that thing. So it was not really appreciable what has been done to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just, again, through the timeline, that was 2023, right? Not 2022? Just,
This is 23, yeah.
That is correct.
okay, all right. Because I remember at council, we talked about the cost estimate specifically. For me, Mr. Mayor, at this point in time, I'd like to see a report come back with
Yeah,
some
we're gonna
further
do that
information.
once I'm finished with any other questions.
Yeah, and I'm just checking to see if I had any other ones. At this point in time, I'll hold there, but I might have another one or two.
I seen Counselor Decker had a question. I seen Counselor Sentence had a question. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To the owner of the property, I just have a few questions about, so you own the property, do you have someone that is responsible for the upkeep of your yard and cutting the grass?
Of course, we,
And garbage, so, so I'll let you answer that question first, because then I have another part to that question.
let me answer you that question to you very well. This property is almost like, don't catch me on the wrong, as per my knowledge, it's like almost like it's a 5-acre land also is there attached to the gas station and the subway property. So there is a major subdivision has come, which we all are aware about it. So a lot of customers are coming from the residential side and coming and throwing on the garbage. So we have like Canadian Waste Company hired. They come twice a week or thrice a week to pick up the garbage. So many times the homeless people are coming and staying. We have called even to the police to throwing them out. So it's not, sometimes we have put it the cameras also, we have put it, if it's a $5,000 violation charges are there. It's not we have that garbage. People are coming and throwing the garbage, and we have to pick up, in fact, that dirty garbage, and we have to throw that into the bin. So people have living around in the city of Tharol, sometimes people have no manners, and we have catched so many times of that thing. And we have the grass cutting people, so we are paying for the maintenance, but sometimes some people are coming in the middle of the night. This gas station is open 24 hours. Some people have no mind. What do you want us to do? We cannot be 24 hours here keeping an eye, like, who's coming and throwing the garbage. But we are still paying extra and extra cost to pick up that garbage, and Canadian Waste, we are paying them to pick up the bin. At least in a week, 3 times we are picking that is not our garbage. Residential properties, some people are coming and throwing their own garbage. Sometimes people are coming and putting the beds over there. How we will have the bed over there? We are not living there. We live in Hamilton. So that some people are behind our control. We cannot help them out. For those people, we are getting penalized for that thing. And that is wrong, and we are trying our best to keep up the property.
So,
Go ahead, Councillor Decker.
yeah, thank you. And so obviously you're not going there to check to see
Regularly
if
we
your
are
grass
coming.
is overgrown and it needs to be, cut and stuff like that. And then you said there's trucks that stay there as well. Are they paying rent to stay on your property, or they're just parking there for?
No, there is no, we are not getting any kind of rent. It's a zoned SO commercial truck stop. Let me repeat it. It is not zoned from now. It is zoned from 1999. I am the owner just from 2017. Because it's a truck stop, so bigger trucks come, it's easier for them to access in and out on the property. So they come, and sometimes they just wait few hours and they leave. Correct? It's not that it's a permanent parking, is there, like buses. Some like school buses, come and stand over there. They don't have enough space. So it's a big yard. And this is not happening from now. I don't understand from where the city has come up suddenly with the bylaws. Where were these bylaws from the 2017 and before also the owners and the 1999? Why these bylaws has not been given to us from 2017 so we can follow those things? And we are now being told now to pay suddenly in this kind of economic crisis with 28,000 plus 3,000. I asked, in fact, to the city, why don't you guys hire me next time doing this kind of work? I can be paid more instead of working hard. Find out the contract, like this kind of quotation. Is going to cost this much money? Even if I go and ask somebody to do the grass cutting, not more than $4,000. Even if we hire urgent basis somebody, nobody's going to charge me $28,000. Give me a break on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Jason, can I just ask you, can you answer that about is it zoned as a truck stop, or?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, the property is zoned as a truck to one of the permitted uses as a transportation depot. And for clarification, none of the operative vehicles were removed from the property. It was only derelict, like camping trailers, boats, and inoperative vehicles.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you. Councillor DeSantis, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you first to Jason. In the report, can you put the past instances and when they occurred and how they were treated and everything like that? If you could put that in the report, I'd appreciate it.
Certainly.
Okay, and thank you. And to the proponent, thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Something you said, if people are doing that to your property, I understand calling the police, you have to, that's not right. But you're still responsible for your property. So regardless of where you live or where I live or anything like that, we have problems with landlords that are out of town and stuff like that. You are responsible for your property. So I understand the frustration that you're talking about and calling police and cameras, but you're still responsible for the upkeep of your property. And we only respond, I believe, if there's complaints. So I don't think anybody came after you. It was somebody in your area that complained or somebody that came and made a complaint, and therefore we reacted. So, but I do agree with, the timing and everything is short time, but for the future, you are responsible for that property. Not 24/7, but you are responsible to keep that up.
And I agree with that thing that I am responsible, and I'm not denying on that part. What I am denying about it, the invoice, the timeline, you cannot expect somebody, and this is totally unfair about the amount, correct? We can provide you even the invoicing from Canadian Waste, how many times the garbage truck is coming and picking up. So it's not that I deny on any part that I am not responsible. Till I hold this property, and we are not even planning to sell the property because we would like to develop the property. That's why we are continuing, and we are requesting to consider, this is a big chunk of invoice, and economy is not doing that great. We don't have that kind of money to pay. So that's only we are requesting, just have with the fair invoice.
Okay, thank
Even
you.
if you have come and put it to that conclusion, because bylaw officer has went and done that thing already, the work.
Thank you.
So that I cannot control.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Jason. Jason, a lot has been said this evening about timeframes. So I just wanted to ask you, is it in the bylaw? Is this timeframe from the 13th when the notice was sent out through registered mail to the actual start of cleanup, 23rd, 10 days? Is that the period that we always stick to? Notice and then 10-day cleanup after that?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the bylaw requires that 7 days be given before we act. If the property owner speaks to or reaches out to us and requests an extension may be granted depending on how serious the condition is. But if an extension is not requested, then we'll act with sometime after those 7 days.
Okay, great. So I guess as well as some of the other things that have been asked for in the report, we should make certain and have the confirmation of the signing or signature for the registered mail so that we know that that's confirmed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just going to the invoice, through you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Simpson, do you have the date the invoice was invoiced for the cleanup?
Through Mr. Mayor, the invoice is dated October 23rd, 2023.
Okay, so just for clarity, and Mr. Mayor, I'll look to you to see how you want to deal with this. So obviously, the invoice is 2023. I'm sure the city's adding interest if the payment hasn't been made. At this point in time, I would, as part of that report, I could do it later, is suspend the interest until we get the report identifying all answers. Okay, so I'll do that then. Okay, so, yeah, I'd like to, suspend that until we have that report that's fully available for council to make a decision on where we're going. Thank you. And if I could just ask the proponent to provide those cleanup invoices that you mentioned from, you said Canada?
Canada Waste? Yeah,
Canada
we
Waste.
can
That would
provide you that.
Be helpful if you could send that to our staff.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, so ultimately, through you, Mr. Mayor, like you said, this will come to regular council meeting, which will take place right after this meeting. But so far, that's kind of the working version of what council will be considering. And obviously, it can be amended based on discussions that take place during council meeting.
Okay, and okay,
Yeah, sure. So I guess the vote would be on referring the matter to council meeting taking place immediately after
okay, so
The
I
public
move
forum.
Councillor DeAngelis